You are live. Live on air, please don't swear.
How did you know that we were having apple crumble and custard? Is there another camera in here somewhere? A big hello to everybody. Hopefully the cupboard monkey will just get me set up on your comments. But today, welcome along. It's really great to have you along. It is Monday. It's the best day of the week. Well, sort of. But it's great to have the Monday Club up and running. And there's so much news to tell, actually. First things first, I just want to let you know that the new batches of the Daypole London and South Western Railway B4 dock tank. And if you hold on one moment, I will show you what these look like. If I can remember where I've put it. There we go.
She's so prepared, isn't she, guys?
So it's this locomotive.
Choo choo.
Yeah, people asked about this. It appeared in my water tower review video that I did in conjunction with Rails of Sheffield. And that is another product I'm going to be talking about in a moment. But the new batch of these are out. I got asked by a lot of people about this in this livery. I understand that there are a few left through the Daypole Collectors Club. So if you really fancy the London and South Western Railway pea green version, then go and check out the club. I do believe there's some other interesting liveries, actually, London and South Western Railway liveries coming through as well in this batch. But they've also got the different cab designs as well. So I think there's at least 2 different versions of the cab. Other things coming out at the moment, the new Rails stroke Daypole Terriers. They are making their way through. The first 4 are in stock at Rails and are starting to be dispatched. I know that because I was charged today for mine, and that is now on its way, perhaps even turning up tomorrow. And I'll be looking forward to a full look and review on that. I'm just going to put this away because I can't put it on the track because it's not DCC fitted. And it'll make an angry buzzing noise and damage the motor if I do that. So just one moment. Where did that? Oh, there we are. What are the news? Yes, well, you'll have seen my video that I did in conjunction with Rails of Sheffield for the water tower. And this product actually has just come in under the radar completely and utterly. I'm going to turn that off as well. I've got a bit too much light. That's come in completely under the radar. As you've seen from that video, it was actually quite
You can't quite see it on the camera, can you?
No, unfortunately it's underneath where I am. Don't fiddle about because you'll just break it.
It's not. It's just off where you are.
Just off camera. It's actually an interesting product, and it's bringing the play value back into the hobby. And hopefully, the full fitting guide that I did was something that has gone down really well. Actually, I keep getting messages, people saying it's been really helpful to get a full, honest review that does include such helpfulness as a fitting guide. And I've actually weathered it in place as well. So at some point
I'll get the roving camera out and have a look.
Yes, because the other news is the back scenes, which you can see on the main screen at the moment. Some of Les's back scene. That angle doesn't really do it justice because of the angle of the roof. But let's have a look at the comments. How are we doing? I am probably already way behind everybody's comments. Adams Railway, hello to all. I'm only stopping for the first hour tonight. No worries. The Growler Blackwood Engage layout. Evening, fellow Monday Clubbers. Evening to you. Bang got you junction, Carl Brand. Hi all, hope you are well. Certainly we are. Shanghai 264359. Yes, the comment on the crumble, just an educated guess. Do we really eat apple crumble and custard far too often? It makes a good crumble. Let's have a look. Josh's Train Room, hi to you. SJ Carter. Ham Shackleton, just waiting for my kettle to boil. Dundee Road, great to see you again. How are you doing? Daryl Hearn, a social eating channel. Adams Railway, can you post me some? We shall tip some down the phone line. If it comes out at your end, then you're in luck. David Cook, hi to you. Andrew Cummins, Chris Hales, Heritage Railway. Patrick Ling, Ed Sutherland, Roger Hunter, Ron Stanbridge, Norman Rowe, Adi Pullen, Peter Carson, Colin Wykes, Andy Finch, Anfield Road Layout in the Loft, Matty Radnell, Mike O'Brien. We got lots and lots of people in. It's great to see you all. And The roving can's up. Oh, apparently I'm being fed beer. So tonight's beverage of choice is a cheeky Cobra beer. Apparently, that's what I've
Where's
been.
that from?
I think it's Indian, isn't it? It's Indian.
I can never remember.
Stop checking the
I
bottle.
almost got it.
Yes, yeah, almost is. A miss is as good as a mile. Yeah, Alex Pomeroy, hi to you. Huey's train layout, Tim JD Dowd. We've got a load of people in, so it's looking nice and busy actually. Got nearly 100. Don't forget to hit that like button and share the stream too. It's really important. Let other people know that we're on the stream now. Let's try and get this to trend. Let's see if we can get over 300 people at any one moment. And that might be quite nice to do. So, roving cam.
Hopefully it's going to load up.
There we go. So, now on your screens, we have a nice view of some of the areas that I've been working on. Failing miserably to actually show the new water tower.
I was showing the back scene because that's what you were mentioning when I was heading down to get this camera.
Somebody said it's too quiet. Just hold on a moment. How are we doing on...
You should be alright now. I've just turned it up quite a bit.
So hopefully we're not redlining, but it's Combat Bunny, great to see you. Leslie Gilpin, Flymo Chairman 1, Not Lobia Model World, hello to you. This is Les, who has, what? Oh yes, the water tower is currently in view. You can't really see the weathering of the base because there's locomotives in the way. But certainly you can see that it's all been weathered up, bedded in quite nicely. Yeah. You can also see some of the work that I've been doing with War World Scenics.
Which we won't show too much of because that's a Friday video.
That is this Friday's video. So some of the scenery there has been, I keep using the word enlivened. I don't know, I tend to latch onto a word and use it until it
regardless of whether you're using it correctly or not.
Until it rolls up the white flag.
Shall I move this quickly to show the other side?
The other side? Or what? Do you mean the back scene over there?
Yeah.
Yeah, come on. Les is in the house. So I've got Southern Train Girl, hi to you. Richard Swiderski. Minnie West Aston Junction, hi to you. Tony Wright, Roger Hunter, Adams Railway, Norman Rowe, Leslie Gilpin. We've got loads and loads of people. Haven Rail, crumble and custard, yum, now hungry.
I can't get it to stand, so you're going to have to take hold of
I'm going to have to hold this. Unfortunately, there we are. So, Tim JD Dowd says chocolate crunch and pink custard. That's very reminiscent of my time at school.
That sounds delicious.
It was. So you can see over there, that's probably, let me just put my phone down and see if I can get a little bit of slack on the cable. So this is the new back scene, as is at this moment. So from the mill building in the corner that was there before, this fabulous back scene has come courtesy of Les Cliff, and he really is an amazing artist. There's a lot of scale scene stuff there, Metcalf stuff, bit of super quick as well. Had an awful lot of Les's artistic flair, so as you can see, this has made a huge difference, and actually it's quite surprised me just how different this area looks now compared with even just a week or so ago. And you know, to look back now at how it was, it just seems Spartan and empty, and I look at it and think, how did I ever think that it looked good? Essentially before, all that was here was that the blue that you see on the walls above the back scene went right down to these retaining walls, and that's all there was. And there was a few pretty ropey buildings just stuck to the wall from the end of the ramp to that mill building. They've all been swept away, and really we have got something absolutely special. And right now Les is working on, if I show you over here, there's nothing in there at the moment, but I've seen the wonderful sunset and sea. There's a castle and all sorts, very much like Anik, that's going to go in along there, and I'm really looking forward to that. Also got over in the far corner, there's a piece being made to finish off this and to tie it into Langdale that you see over there just beyond the microphone. So yeah, and there's also a cupboard monkey here as well. The back scene over there, so starting at the military academy, I'll hand that over to the cupboard monkey, And because it's on the ceiling, it's just a little bit difficult to show it at its best. You have to get down quite low. But we've got a really lovely scene along the back there as well. Bolton Model Railway Society, good evening to you. Haven Rail, washed down with beer, I know. Dundee Road, you should post the pudding a few days before the stream so we can all join you. Yeah, maybe we should put out the recipe. Or even, maybe we should film a how-to guide, how to make your amazing apple crumble. Put it out and maybe everybody can have a go and we can all eat apple crumble together.
Yeah, we can do that. That's not a problem.
It's an easy recipe. You got it off, was it BBC or something?
Yes, it's modified from a recipe I got on the BBC Good Food.
FMR Station House, good to have you along. We've got loads of people coming in. It's great to see so many familiar faces
and also
names.
this week we have my drink of choice. This is different to what I normally go for. We have Fentiman's Pink Rhubarb Tonic Water.
Haven Rail says you should bring the huge beer glass you had last week and fill it with beer. I think I might need a little bit more than this bottle.
Oh, the Stein!
Kevin ZZ, good evening to you.
Do you want to give this a try?
Yeah, I'll go. Yeah, I'll try anything, me.
Which is why you're addicted to crystal meth. Not really.
No, I'm not sure I like that. Not my thing. Not Lobia Model World, busy working on a new background for the far wall for Jenny, and I'm really looking forward to it, I have to say. Norman Rowe says the water tower was awesome. Yeah, and it's what I've said all along. It's about bringing the fun back into model railway.
Is it turned on?
It can be, but no, don't press the button. I need to actually move the train of things.
Press the button.
Will you just calm yourself? I have to move these, otherwise the arm hits them. Right. Now you can set up the roving. I can't understand. The Cupboard Monkey wants to play.
I like to play. Yes, I do.
So we're going to try and show the water tower. And now I've moved stuff out of the way so you can see everything's weathered and bedded in. And it was awfully nice of Rails of Sheffield. Let me keep it. Although I suppose after I'd taken it out of the box and fitted it, it wasn't like it was easy enough to send back and pass off as a new item. So a big thank you to Rails of Sheffield for that. And it's great to work closely with them. But just give me one moment to turn it on. Right, now you can press the button. So yes, it does work. And we've got all of the sound effects. Obviously, you'd put a locomotive there, but I'm loath to trim the kind of the canvas tube. I don't know whether you got that because it's not picking up through the microphone on the camera.
It's not. I'm just showing them the animation.
So
I got a bit of that.
Yeah, and actually, if you press the button for 5 seconds, hold it in for 5 seconds, you get the overflow. The Cupboard Monkey's going to go for it now. New Mills Model Railway says that water tower is amazing. Really got to get myself one of those. Definitely. And if you do order the water tower, use the link that I put on my video. It's an affiliate link. Doesn't cost you a penny extra, but I do make a very small percentage, which really does help to support the channel. I Like Transport says too loud. Are we now maxing out?
I was watching the levels and we were fine.
Yeah, we're within the levels, so maybe today's stream is sponsored by Billy's Replacement Speakers. Wardle Road, big hello to you. Evening all in chat. Hopefully someone's well. Yes, we are. Growler Blackwood Engage layout. Day have to spend some time extending a garden fence. And Mark Wilson. Evening, my ducks. FMR Station House, what's new? Well, as I said right at the beginning, Daypole, London and South Western Railway B4 Dock Tank, the new versions of that, including some very popular, probably will be popular, London and South Western Railway colourful liveried versions, is hitting the shops over probably the next week to 2 weeks. This is the new batch, and they do also include Stop It. They
include some Stop It's.
No, I know what you're like. You've already broken that signal once with your flailing about. But you're making me lose my train of thought.
Choo choo.
Yes, and they also include a new version of the cab backs as well, which is interesting to see. What else is coming out? The Rails of Sheffield / Daypole Terrier is finally hitting these shores. 4 different versions, although only the non-DCC fitted versions at this time. The DCC fitted and the sound fitted versions are still showing as to come later, but the first 4 liveries, which is BR Early Crest Black, BR Late Crest Black, London, Brighton and South Coast Railway brown livery. I think it's X Gypsy Hill, but it doesn't have the name on the tanks. It just has LBS and CR on the tanks. And I think it's either Sutton or Rolverden. It's one or the other of the blue Kent and East Sussex Railway terriers. Now, I know my terrier, the payment was processed today, which means it is en route, so that's one to look out for. There's also an announcement from Hornby that there's a number of the new items are on their way, and then we were sidetracked into the water tower, and that is the surprise release from Dapol. Although they did announce it back in, I think it was 2017, and then it's kind of just gone under the radar. There's been no hype, but it has gone down ever so well. You're pointing at...
Is this a new surprise release?
This isn't a surprise release, but do look out for coming up on the channel. It's a bit bigger than we run up here on Ware Yard, but there's the new 14XX042 auto tank. Again, another Dapol model. We're getting a whole host of stuff coming through from Dapol, which is probably a good sign. What it means is that the production is coming through. Stuff is starting to re-hit the shores, and we're seeing that from Hornby as well. Hopefully as well, Pico are going to be ramping up some production as well, because I know that track from Pico has been almost impossible to find. And I see we've got Pottersmore in the room. Big hello to you, and you lucky sir. Was it you got a whole load of track, or am I confusing you with Wardle Road? It's one or the other. You managed to score yourself some Pico Flexi track, which is it's pretty good going actually, given how difficult the stuff is to get at the moment. Let's have a look.
Well, hello, Quacky Ducky.
Will you behave yourself? New Mills Model Railway says you've disguised the computer cables well. Thank you very much.
Yeah, she tried hard for that.
Yeah, what I actually used, I used sea foam or seagrass. I can never remember exactly what it's called. But what I use is I've used hairspray and then some War World Scenics. Not the finest scatter, but kind of like the next one up. And scattered that on. It's a really good technique actually. It does produce some pretty nice bushes and trees. They can be a bit fragile, so I wouldn't recommend them for an exhibition or a mobile layout, but certainly if you've got the luxury of a fixed layout such as this, the seafoam type trees are actually quite good. You need plenty of cheap hairspray. Do it in a well ventilated room, otherwise you'll be choking on the fumes and high as a kite. So £1 a can. This is from the Co-op. You can also get it from Asda, probably Lidl, Aldi, Morrison's, Tesco. They've all got their own brand. Cheap and cheerful hair. Oh no! Oh, for a moment there, I thought I just knocked a glass over. I thought there was something in it. Luckily, there wasn't.
Speaking of something in it, do you want to?
Well, you're going to have to talk to the nice people.
I'm sure I can talk to the nice people.
Right, come on then.
Right, while you chow down on that very delicious apple crumble that I spent minutes making. Let's have a look at what else we've got. Great use of forced depth with the painted scene in the low relief, says Pottersmore. Yes. To be honest with you, Les's artwork is... Let's see if I can get it from a different angle as well. Les's art is fantastic. You can't really see it, but well, you kind of can. He's probably one of the best scenic artists I've ever met. He can just, like that, just throw it together. It's amazing.
He does just throw it together. But it's something that it's a technique that I've used a lot on my if any of you have ever seen my exhibition layout, Grove Street Yard, and I call it sort of like super low relief and flat relief, and it's a great way of using broken old kits. A lot of people, if you've had a layout that you've had to dismantle, then you always end up with card kits that get damaged, but you can cut up bits out of them and really put them to good use, and it's exactly what Les has done. So we've got some, I think they're scale scenes, printed out buildings, so it's very flat down at the far end, moving into an assortment of Metcalf kits, and it builds the depth up, and it really works well. more scale scenes further up here. And then we've got some super quick and also some of the scene craft. The Bachmann scene craft low relief buildings. There's just enough space that some that were actually originally there have been incorporated in. And those extra bits of depth really do make it look like there is a world that just keeps going that way. And I think that's the trick.
Yeah.
What you need with a back scene, a good back scene, is a sense of distance, and that is exactly what Les has been able to do with this. So I am incredibly pleased, and I do feel quite honoured that I've got Les as a friend who's done this for me.
Kevin says, I'm disappointed that you're drinking lager and out of the bottle. It should be real ale and in a glass.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because I am going to look to approach some real ale people and see whether they might want to send a crate of stuff to basically be Jenny's Monday Club, powered by, and then essentially make it a sort of de facto sponsor. So that's something that I thought, if you don't ask, you don't get. It's as simple as that.
Yes.
And we're probably well behind on the comments.
We are.
So,
Haven Rail asks about the apple crumble. Do you put cinnamon in it?
Oh, yes.
Yes, I do. I use 5 tablespoons of mixed spice, one of which is cinnamon.
What are the others?
Nutmeg. Cinnamon, nutmeg, and a few others.
Probably mace. I know mace, you just think like, what, mace? You've got being mugged?
But
actually mace is a spice.
I couldn't tell you for certain what they are because they already come pre-blended. When I just do it very quickly, throw them together. But it's the 5 tablespoons with a tablespoon of sugar and a few tablespoons of water to get it to caramelize first, and I cook it intensely so that the sauce that comes out of it caramelizes, and that's what makes it so delicious.
Yeah, that and the crystal meth that she adds into the mix.
Right, are you okay here so I can go off and do some recording?
Yeah, you can go.
Right,
Adam's Railway says, how many of those would it take to fill the massive Stein? Probably about 4 of these bottles.
I believe the Stein is 4 pints.
Lettuce Trains asks, hi Jenny, new topic, traction tyres, good or bad? I personally don't like them. I think that a well-designed locomotive shouldn't actually need traction tyres. So case in point, at the moment going around the layout, we've got some locomotives with some really long trains. So there's a class 31 with 12 Bachmann Mark 1s, no traction tyres on that, it's working just fine. And then we've got a pair of Bachmann Peaks. We've got a class 44 and a class 46.
What happened to the Q1?
Didn't put it on. 44 and a 46, and they're pulling about 60 wagons, and again, no traction tyres. And then I've got a class 25, and that is just romping away. A well-designed, well-weighted locomotive shouldn't need traction tyres. From my experience of Hornby 00 days, I found that the tiniest amount of oil contamination and your traction tyres really become a hindrance rather than a help. Tim JD Dowd says, what's the motive power tonight, Jenny? Well, we've got a Hornby Super Detail Class 31, North Yorkshire Moors Railway on a load 12 Bachmann Mark 1's blue-grey, pair of Bachmann Peaks Class 44008 and 46053 on a mostly van train. There's some other stuff in there. I did that kind of knowing that Ollie Simons would be dropping in, and he likes his van trains. And then also, somewhere around here, we've also got an Oxford Rail Janus Shunter in ICI Red, and this is for a forthcoming review that I'm doing for Hattons. So at the moment, it's actually been running in all day. I've been doing an endurance test on it, and it is working so smoothly and so sweetly. I've been very, very impressed with the mechanism in the Oxford Rail Janus Shunter. And that's actually pulling an assortment of ICI livery wagons. A bit of a motley assortment. We've got one of the PHV bogie hoppers, a small 4-wheel 14-ton tank, and then a TTA tank in ICI methanol white. James Moody says, what do people do for underlay these days? There has to be something better than court, like we've just left some Daily behind. Woodland Scenics and also DCC Concepts do a stable foam underbase. Actually, I've used the Woodland Scenics one, and I believe it to be similar to the DCC Concepts one, and that is actually pretty easy to use, pretty good. Haven Rails says, Jenny, thanks for the vid on the G2A, just got mine and bedding it in. Yeah, it's a great model, I do like that. Norman Rose says, that was nice, bet they sold a few, thanks to you, we can hear it. Oh, it's the water, gosh, that's how far behind I am on the comments. Thank you very much. I won't know actually until next month, and they'll let me know how many the videos actually sold through the link. But fingers crossed that it's successful, and then hopefully work with Rails of Sheffield on doing some other videos for them as well. Ickham Road, hi all, this is my first time on these live streams. Welcome along, it's great to have you along. I hope you're enjoying the stream. Let's have a look. Gosh, so many people. Ryan Worth Valley, would you be able to run your Pullman set? The Pullman set is buried in the fiddle yard down below. Maybe for next week we shall dig out the Pullman set. I haven't actually run them in a while. I have been changing stuff around today, but yeah, maybe for next week I'll get the Pullman train out and running. That might be quite nice. Norman Rose says similarly, not quite as smooth. Must be commenting to somebody else's comment. Ben Davis, hi Jennifer, the Rails of Sheffield Terriers won't come in last week, still waiting for my model. How long till we get them? Should start to be sometime this week. I guess they've just been working through all of the ones that were ordered in advance. I can imagine it's quite busy, hampered a little bit by coronavirus, social distancing. They're obviously doing that in the mail order department as well. So that's going to slow things down a little bit, but they are getting them out there. So hopefully it should get posted this week, maybe. I'll go out on a limb and say that. Adams Rowe said, Jenny, what's behind the red Sentinel? I presume you mean the Janus shunter. It's not a Sentinel, it's a Janus shunter. It just said that the ICI Bogey Hopper, that's a Hatton's Special Commission. The 14-ton ICI Blue-Green tanker, that's a Bachmann wagon, and again, Bachmann TTA methanol tanker. Alex Pomeroy says, just ordered some crew from Model U for my Terrier. Actually, yeah, Model U and also Hardy's Hobbies as well. There's some great makers of 3D printed crew and that to really personalise your locomotives. Combat Bunny, thank you very much for posting up the link for the Rails of Sheffield. J94, hi to you. James Moody has commented, said that would be me. Must be a response to something. I'm so far behind on the comments, it's really difficult to work out what people are replying to. But Mark Wilson, I'm still working on my motor rail terminal. Pictures on the Model Rail Network and Scale Scenes Facebook site. It's a bit of a test. Yes, I have seen those. It's looking great. Let's have a look. Oh, Daryl Hearn says, waiting for my Queen Mary brake van from Rails bargain price. There's a lot of good bargains to be had, actually, not just from Rails of Sheffield, but a lot of other places too. And it's well worth shopping around. And one of the things I did want to do was actually say, support your local model shop if they're doing mail order, because I think some of them are starting to struggle a little bit. And I've seen from some places actually that I've never seen of before. And there's a thread on the RM Web forum where people have been posting links to bargains, and it's like A&H Model Railways, something like that, and they've got some amazing prices, and they're not alone. So I think that now more than any time you need to support your local model railways if they're doing mail order, and buy from them. It's the best thing you can do for them. And there are some great bargains out there. Next week for the Pullman set, I will dig that one out for next week. Josh's Train Room, you're lucky, Jenny. That's the one I need to go with my auto coach, but I still need to save up for my double O. I know, I've been very lucky. This is actually a loaner. It's been sent to me on loan from Daypol, so a big thank you to the guys at Daypol for giving me the opportunity to really take a close look at this. I think it's even got opening cab doors. Yes, it does. There's a lot of great features on these, and in fact, I'm going to show you. You can take the cab roof off. It's held on by magnets, so putting a crew in there is an absolute doddle. So it's certainly something that I would certainly think about if this is one you buy for yourself. Let me just get it back onto. It's currently sat on my programming track as a safe haven for it. Melchester Model Railway, evening Jenny and all. Thanks to evening to you too. James Moody, spent ages scanning through the model shop directory before I found someone with it in stock. Oh, is it the water tower? Yeah, they've sold incredibly well. I know I spoke to Jack Morgan at Hatton's last week, and he said they've just sold out of the motorised version. So despite the fact that there's people online poo-pooing them, you know, the usual suspects of the rivet counting club, they've proved very, very popular. And as I said, you know, it's bringing the fun back into model railways, and not necessarily just for you. It's wrapped up in a good scale model of a water tower. It does not look out of place on a model railway such as this. But if you've got nieces, nephews, grandchildren, children, it's a little bit of interest and play value for them. And, you know, just to see their faces light up with the magic. I did it on a video call, a Zoom video call with my little nephew, Henry. Big up, Henry. He lives and breathes trains. And he was mesmerised by that water tower, just showing it him on a Zoom call. I just sort of filmed it, fired it up. And it's, you know, moments like that which you think, yeah, spot on with Dapol. And I'd love to see if they would consider doing not just other water towers for other railway companies, so, you know, LMS, LNER, no, that is GWR, Southern Railway, but also maybe a signal cabin with sounds. So, you know, you could imagine that some of the sounds that you get from a signal cabin, things like the bell codes, the sound of levers being pulled and stuff like that, and other things, you know, people saying stuff. There's a lot of scope for that, which I think would be a nice product to accompany that, but also maybe a simple station building incorporating station sounds. You'd need an oldie worldy one, sort of steam era one, and then you'd need a modern image one as well. But certainly I think there's a great scope for a range of models there, and I think Dapol have really got onto something. Combat Bunny says, my local model shop had a Pico delivery today. Yes, I knew that they were planning on restarting production, so it's great to see. Philip Bowden, though, says, my project is totally stalled until there is more Pico track in the shops. You need to ask Combat Bunny for details for his local model shop. It sounds like they may have some in. Mark Rice says, hi Jen, I hope Dapol make a coal loading building like they have at Didcot Railway Centre. Yeah, there's a lot of scope. I think that is a range that is going to keep on giving, hopefully. Ickham Road, oh yes, Wardle Road as well. Yes, other news. Don't forget, Jenny and I will be live on my channel from 6 PM tomorrow. That's right. I'm guesting via Skype, I think it is, on Wardle Road. So do look out for that as well. Tomorrow from 6. We'll post a link to that. Lettuce Trains. Why no multiple unit action? Just simply a case of I don't know. Put the trains that are running on. You know, it doesn't matter what I put on. People just go, oh, why not this? Somebody said as well, J94, Jenny, I can see your Class 25 Ethel on the webcam. Oh yes, of course, yes, it's on the front of the line of Type 2s. There's 4 25s and a 26. It was on the previous view that was showing, so that's on that view. Ben Tullett, Pico track isn't the only thing that has run out. I tried to find card kit, brick wall sheets. Literally everyone had run out. Yeah, and it just shows that the basically our hobby has been a godsend through this period. It's given people a focus to alleviate the boredom, and it's great to see some of the stuff that people are producing. Lochfath train video, hi to you. Ickham Road says free ale is a great idea. Oh gosh, I am well behind in this. Kevin ZZ, my local brewery supplies me with a 9-pint mini cask delivered to the door. Excellent. Let's have a look. Dathpo, ale is always a good idea. Yes, never underestimate the power of the ale. Hi to Viaduct Central Model Railway. Philip Bowden, too many 55 plus men with time on their hands clearing out the model shops. An element of that. But certainly you may find some of the lower traffic model shops, it's worth supporting them, and they may well have what you want in stock. Oh, there it is, the comment about the Q1. Robert Nisbet. Hi Jenny, is that you on Cobra? Yes, and Crumble. Very Bohemian. Where's the Q1 gone? We've gone all diesel all the time at the moment. The Q1 is just up there, out of shot. I did run it last week, so we're giving it a bit of a breather. Having so many requests, maybe next week we'll get the Class 411 up and running, and also the Pullman train as well. So we'll mark those down. Right. Ian Ryan says, good evening from the land of milk and honey. Peter Lee. I hope everyone is safe and well. Yes, but I haven't been through Peter Lee in a while, actually. I must admit, I've only been to the centre of Peter Lee once, and that must have been about 15 years ago. Peter Carson, my new Janus will only go in one direction. I don't know why that might be. I would suggest taking that, well, sending that back if you can't figure that out. It could be something jamming, I'm not sure, but that's not right. Big hello to Somerset Andy as well. New Mills Model Railway. Those Januses are really nice, but I think Golden Valley Hobby stroke Oxford Rail brought out too many variants too quickly. There is an element in that, and that you can pick them up for a really great price at the moment from quite a few different outlets. I suspect it's also a case that they produce too many of each livery variant, but certainly they're well worth it. I think they're made by Yorkshire Engine Company, were the original makers of the Janus Shunter, and indeed quite a lot of them do survive. They were successful. British Rail did actually try out one, but because of the contraction of the railways in the late 60s onwards, there was an awful lot of regular shunters that became surplus to requirements that BR already owned, so they kind of put the kibosh not only on the Janus but also on taking on Sentinels as well. Evening to you, Peter Leyland. Aidan L, thanks Stretch. I've been looking at O-Gauge for that. I live in America, so the transport costs are just a bit much for that scale. British locos just look better than stuff here. What I would suggest is that they should be taking the VAT off. And the VAT normally covers the cost of postage. So the price that you see, the ticket price from the likes of Rails, Hattons, Kernow Model Centre, Arcadia Models, all of these places, if they'll take the VAT off, because you don't need to pay it because you're not in the European area, that normally equates to what it costs to post it. So it might not be as expensive as you think. Lettuce Trains asks, can you pose the Dapol unmotorised version of the Dapol water tank yourself? I suspect you can, but don't quote me on that. Right. St Mary Church Model Railway. Hi Jenny, the back scene looks fantastic. Thank you very much. Coddesmore. www.fromthefootplate.com has just launched his website for selling some items. Limited choice for now, but use Launch 10 for 10% off. I've ordered something very different for them. I'll check them out after the stream, actually. As I always like to support smaller, less well-known manufacturers. Let's have a look. I'm going to do... I'm so far behind on the comments. I'm going to go do the flicky thing. So if I've missed you... Oh, gosh, there are a lot of comments. If I've missed people's comments, I'm not ignoring you. It's just simply a case of I'm trying to keep up to date. I Like Transport says, I see Bachmann are stocking Hattons again. I'm not sure what to make of that. I don't think they are, but I could be wrong on that. I need to get it clarified from Hattons. But I'm not seeing an official announcement. Hattons are not listed in the revised list of suppliers on the Bachmann website, and some of the stock is older stock, and it would suggest to me that it may be that rather than stocking Bachmann again, it could be that they've taken on stock from another retailer that for whatever reason has overstocked. I'm not sure on that, don't quote me on that, but I need to actually send a message. I meant to send a message to Jack Morgan or Richard Davies and just find out, but I don't know for certain. But I haven't heard anything official. Yeah, Coddismore says that Hattons have some ex-shop stock from other suppliers. Bachmann aren't relisting them. I suspected that was the case because some of the models are older models which have been sold out of Bachmann for quite some time. And they're also in strange multiples of 4 for some reason. So I suspect that they've come from another retailer. Don't know which retailer. I know that in the past Hattons have helped Olivia's Trains as one example to shift some stock, so it could be from that source or another source. They haven't said, nobody else is saying, but that is more likely to be the source of it. I know that they do have some of the really new models. So for example, they had the new C-Class, the Bachmann C-Class in the fully ornate SECR livery, although they had it at £207. If you shop around, you can find it for under £200. J. Paul Anderson, yeah, they've taken on stock from others before very much. Ed Sutherland says, I can't stand the Hattons website, total pain to search. Their search function is rubbish, I will say that, but I always thought that the layout of the Hattons website is actually one of the best. So search function, yes, I would have a gripe with. The rest of the website, no, I do actually think it's one of the best. Let's have a look what else we got here. Coddismore, the website in beta is much easier. Yeah, I got pointed in that direction by Richard Davies, and I have had a play around with the beta version of the new website, and it is interesting, definitely. I Like Transport says they have the new 158, more than 10 in stock of all liveries. Interesting. Ed Sutherland, much prefer the Rails of Sheffield site amongst others. The Rails of Sheffield site does have some features, like you can search by category as well, which is pretty good. The only thing I don't like about the Rails of Sheffield site is if you go down a list and then click on an item, look at it, and then go back to the main list, it whisks you back to the start and it messes up unless you change some of the functions and force it to refresh. You can't then scroll through the pages. There are some glitches on the Rails of Sheffield site. So, you know, each site does have its quirks. James Moody, yes, I found this as well. The Hattons website is really slow. Partly that could be because at the moment there's so many people browsing it. You've got to admit, there's a lot of people online. And I know I'm guilty of it myself. And actually, I end up spending far too much money. I find that there's 3 different websites that I spend all my time on. Kerno Models, Rails of Sheffield, and Hattons. And, you know, you fill the basket up, take stuff out of the basket, fill the basket up, and oh my word, I do so much window shopping. I really should stop doing that, because eventually you find the one item you think, that's a really good price, I'm having you. The amount of money I've spent on lockdown with Rails of Sheffield alone. That's the other thing as well. Rails of Sheffield, don't make it easy to add up everything you've ever spent, because it makes you go, how much? And it's like, $2.5 grand. I've spent too much money. So yeah. Yeah, J. Paul Anderson. I know the Rails website. I know what you mean. Awkward until you used it a few times and got used to some of the quirks. I was exactly the same, it has to be said. Don Cragen, hi Jenny and Zoe, joining late on lockdown in San Jose, catching up on the chat now. Welcome aboard, great to see you. And also, if you just joined the chat, don't forget to tickle that like button, really important, help support the channel. And also share the stream too, let everybody else know that we are live and dangerous on the Monday Club, and everybody is welcome and everybody is invited. And also don't forget that you can check us out over on Patreon, join up there and help support the channel. And we've also got the merchandise shop where you can get mugs, t-shirts, and also you can buy my books from Amazon. Ooh, right, there we are, I've got the plugs out of the way. Flymo Chairman 1, can you open the items in other tabs on these websites? Oh, I've never thought to check that. I will check that, actually, it's a good point. Stephen Oxborough says, I just used Hattons, took 4 minutes to buy. Actually, yeah, the Hattons website, I would say, probably edges it in terms of ease of use, but it does have a few flaws. You know, I don't think any of these websites are perfect. Certainly, I would rate Hattons as being the easiest to use, but there are some issues. Adams Railway says Jenny Hattons have 2 new Class 40s 97407 Oriole in BR Blue weathered for £165. Yeah, again, these were slightly older stock, so they clearly got them in from another retailer. It's with the departmental number that they had. I think it was about 4, maybe 5 of the Class 40s were reinstated for something to do with Merseyrail, if memory serves me right. Renumbered into the 97XXX tops code to attempt to basically stop people from pinching them to use elsewhere. So yeah, definitely it's one to consider. But I kind of want one with the 40XXX code, but I will keep that in mind. Wardle Road, I've done too much browsing trying to justify everything in the basket at the moment. I did that. I ended up with about 1,500 quid's worth of stuff in the basket yesterday at Rails of Sheffield, and I've reduced that now down to about £600. And bearing in mind I've already spent 250 quid in the last week there, yeah, you can get quite expensive quite quickly. But certainly, and I've spent money at Hattons as well. So yeah, there's that Helgen Bayer Garrett keeps going in and out of my basket at Rails. Will Tucker, evening Jenny and everyone, you should check out the Model Centre website too. There are some surprising bargains there, unweathered. Yeah, and like I said before, do support all the model shops out there. TMC, I've found that some of their main range stuff can be a little bit expensive. They do a great weathering job, but you do pay a premium for that. But one of the things that I really like the most about TMC, the Model Centre, is their special commissions. And as luck would have it, to hand, here is one of their BR plate wagons as commissioned from Bachmann. And I love some of these more unusual wagons that they've taken a punt on. And every time I go to the likes of Worley, Alexandra Palace, I always make a beeline to the TMC stand. And I like to buy a couple of the special commissions that they have taken a punt on. Because you've got to remember, as a retailer, to commission a wagon, you've got to pay a lot of money up front. And you've basically got to buy the entire production run of stock. And that is a big investment. And I think that any retailer that is prepared to do that, to bring models to the market which may not necessarily otherwise come to the market, I think they should be rewarded with that, and I want to support them at every point possible. So I've got an awful lot of special commissions from TMC. In fact, on the screen right now, you are seeing the white and the blue weathered wagons. I believe at least one of those triple wagon set was a TMC triple wagon set. Right, let's change camera angles, shall we? There we are. How else are we doing? J. Paul Anderson, oh yeah, Kerno is quite nice too. Can't use them myself as they don't take paper. I didn't know that. Although some of their functions, their search options, I thought, you know, it's like, I want to look at your limited editions. Oh, would you want steam locos, diesel locos, electric locos? And it's like, just show me the lot. You know, give me a list and I'll troll through it. And it's like, you know, it's not the way that I naturally browse. So their search function is a bit, yeah. Brayworth Park, evening to you. Great to have you on. I hope you're all well. Tim Davis, hi to you. Somerset Andy Adam, I did see the Class 40 again on Hattons. Yeah, I really do want a Class 40, has to be said, amongst other things. But yes, a Class 40 is high up the list. I've even got one of the Hornby TTS sound chips waiting to go in one. So I will check that out. Philip Bowden, I managed to pick up 24 Tortoise point motors this week. Can't see Tortoise or Cobalt anywhere. Feel really lucky. Yeah, they are pretty much the Rolls Royce of point motors. Usually quite expensive. The Cobalt ones, I believe, is that DCC Concepts make those. So what I would suggest is check out DCC Concepts' own website and see what they have available. I don't know if they're still doing the offer. I know Richard Brighton did post that they'd extended their lockdown offer of free postage for a while. I don't know whether that's still on. Maybe worth checking that out. Brayworth Park, hi to you. Josh's Train Room, I ordered some new Hunt couplings to go with my Mark III ST coaches when I get them. You won't be disappointed. They are really good design couplings. Andrew Davis, Blue Peters 70s Jenny, am I right that the creator of Thomas the Tank Engine had a model railway in a suitcase? think it was used to tell stories in schools. I don't know about that. It has to be said. But yeah, I think actually Ed Sutherland here says, yeah, I've heard that one too. So quite possibly. Melchester Model Railway. I've been pulling my belt in during lockdown and not spending much on model railways. Unfortunately, I've gone the opposite way, it has to be said. Totally right. Window shopping is great so long as you don't hit the buy button. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's one of those things, isn't it? Yeah. That's the bit that I've not quite got down to pat. Oh, Paul Hinders. It was crew remodelling back in the 80s. Right. You're absolutely right. Yes, and Mark tells the 40s were reinstated with the crew station major track rework. Right. Yes, definitely. James Pett says, on the subject of Class 40s, my father worked at English Electric when he was young and he designed the internal engine pipework for the class. Oh, gosh. Ed Sutherland says, I'm not bought a huge amount, bought a bunch of cheap Pico PL10s and PL26s. One of the places I will recommend for that is it's Hereford Model Centre. Certainly when he used to do shows, he may still do it. He always had like literally a big wicker basket full of second-hand Pico PL10 and PL10E point motors, all guaranteed to work, salvaged from old layouts, and he used to sell them at 50p each. The price may have gone up slightly, but certainly if you've got a lot of those solenoid type motors to buy, give Hereford Model Centre a call and query with them, because it is an incredibly cheap way of picking up lots and lots of point motors. I think I bought about 30 from him. You know, imagine 30 Pico point motors for 15 quid. Boom, get in there. I bought some other stuff at the same time, so the postage actually worked out really good as well, but it's well worth checking that out. Bolton Model Railway Society. Hi everyone in chat, just letting you know we currently have a competition running to win a streamlined diesel rail car. Just head to our website. Absolutely, yes. In fact, let me just right, I've made you a moderator. Bolton Model Rail Society, if you want to post a link to your website for that, it's a competition that is being judged by myself and Les Cliff. It's a diorama building competition, and the prize is a Daypol streamlined rail car, and they're a nice piece of kit. I did a full review on one of the Daypol streamlined rail cars, and great models. So if you want to join the competition, then head on over to the Bolton Model Rail Society's website. So if they want to, you've now got the privileges, Bolton Model Rail Society, to post a link to that if you put that in the chat, and then people know where to head to. Chris Hales, Heritage Railway, sorry about that. Had a phone call from my daughter, but back now. Have I missed it yet? No, don't worry. You can always go back and review stuff. It's not a problem. The video goes up and stays up on YouTube afterwards. Kelly Ashford, I was hoping to see some steamies in the background. Let me change the camera angle. It's all set up for BR Blue at the moment. So there's an incredibly out of scale 14XX. It just happens to be the locomotive that's to hand. So there we are, massively out of scale. Oh, I can feel my inner rivet counter going, no. So actually, now let's move that. And I've got to be careful, I'm getting slightly drunk, and I'm hoiking this 200 quid model around. So, steam locomotive. This one, generously supplied to the channel by Tim's Trains. So I'm just going to put that on there. So just for you, we're going to put let's put it somewhere there. So this is a little bit dusty actually. It's been downstairs. It's got a bit of a coat of dust on. It's a J36, but in the North British livery as moored. So there we go. Let's have a look. Combat Bunny, thank you for posting the link there to the Model Centre. Do go and check them out. And it's like I said before, use it or lose it. Right now is the time when your local model shop really needs you. And I know that, I work closely with Rails of Sheffield and to a lesser extent Hattons as well, but it doesn't mean that it's like, oh no, you must always go there. No, support your local model centre, because right now they really need your help to get through this tough patch. And what you find is that some of certainly the lesser well-known shops the lower volume shops have probably got on the shelves the item that you are looking for, particularly items such as Pico Track. Give them a call, give them an email, and find out what they've got in stock. They may also have some great bargains. And it used to be, unfortunately, Bolton Model Centre shut down last year. The owners retired, but they had a lot of stock that he'd had in stock for 15 years, like Bachmann branchline wagons. He had the first run of the ex-London and North Eastern Railway vent vans, and he was selling them at £8.50 each. Their RRP's now nearly 30 quid on them. But because he still had them in stock, because, you know, slow seller, small model shop, didn't sell a lot, you could get an amazing valued item because, you know, you're paying £8.50 for it. And there's a lot of shops like that. Also, I know that Tim over at Arcadia Models in Shaw, they do have a website. Check him out. He's still doing mail order, and a lot of the other shops as well still doing mail order. But particularly, I know that Tim would very much appreciate your business. Do give him a call, check him out. He's got some great bargains on offer, and he does normally price match with Hattons and Rails of Sheffield. So check out, see what he's got. I'm guessing that, you know, it's well, 53A models in Hull. I've had a lot of stuff from there over the years. Used to be a model shop that I'd frequent an awful lot visiting my grandparents who lived in Cottingham. Durham Trains of Stanley, another place that I've had a lot from over the years. Again, give him a call, see what he's got in stock. And you might be able to track down some of those hard to get at the moment items like Pico Track. Let's have a look. Somerset Andy, I was watching the Crew Station on Railcam earlier. Yeah, of course, Railcams as well is a great way of kind of seeing the world go by without going out at the moment. Leslie Gilpin says Wilbert Audrey had a few model railways. Farquhar was one. Look him up on Wiki, which has a biography. Interesting. Somerset Andy, 3 Colas Class 70s went through at Crew. Tim JD Dowd, I went to the SDR bridge by the Transporter Bridge to get a couple of shots of them. Goddess Moore says, I'll wait to get some flack for it, but supporting local doesn't always work, especially when box shifters are often cheaper. In these furlough times, cash is king. I know what you're saying, definitely, but I've seen some amazing offers come through from some of the smaller sellers, and there's things like Track. Track is just almost impossible to find at the moment, so if you're desperate for Track, it is also worth giving some of the smaller model shops a tinkle. But, you know, like I said about Tim at Arcadia, he price matches with Hattons, with Rails of Sheffield, so you're not necessarily going to pay more than you would elsewhere. And quite often as well, they might have items that are out of stock at some of the big box shifters. Because I know that, for example, Hattons has completely sold out, at least I had when I last checked, of the motorised Dapol water towers. And what you may find is that you go to a smaller volume supplier, they still have them in stock. Maybe other items, you might be able to get stuff from last year's catalogue or the year before, and find that they've still got them in stock at a reasonable price. I know that some people, even when the Huntley and Palmer's W4 Peckets were selling out, they were like gold dust everywhere. And when the first release, the Locomotive D, there were still people reporting that they were finding them in some of the smaller model shops months after you couldn't get them for love nor money because they were low volume shops. So it's worth a punch around. But yeah, like you say, Codismore, cash is king. But notwithstanding that, there are still some great deals out there. So, you know, shop around, see what is out there. You don't have to buy. Melchester Model Railway. I was annoyed with Kerno as I was going to buy something but slept on it. The next day it had gone up by £68. It's almost as if they knew I was looking at it. That is a bit harsh, isn't it? Oh, no, at least you hadn't then had to buy it and paid over the odds. The worst is when you buy an item and then the very next day it's the item that went in the sale and it's now 40 quid less than what you just paid for it. Ed Sutherland says, I think Charlie at Chadwick bought all the Toy Taurus motors. Quite possibly. Kelly Ashford, say, how do you manage to avoid derailments? Track laying. Make sure that your track is laid perfectly first time every time. Be really careful with alignment. You're not wanting twists, anything like that. And keep the check rails and the points clear as well. And you know, a lot of preparation in the track laying stage is worth its weight in gold for reliability of running. The trains that you're seeing up here at the moment, trundling around, they have been going around non-stop since about 3 o'clock this afternoon. Honestly, that is how long they've been going non-stop. And they just keep trundling because I put a lot of time and effort into making sure that the track was laid smoothly, no kinks, making sure that, you know, the curves were right, that there's no twists in the track. Stuff like that does pay dividends. Thank you, Combat Bunny. Posted the link to DCC Concepts. I believe they're the makers of Cobalt Point motors, so worth checking them out. Like I said before as well, check out on their Facebook page because they may still have a free postage deal. You type a code into a box to get a free postage deal. They may still be running that, I don't know. Lolly Bray, hi to you. Yeah, Ham Shackleton, absolutely right there. Andrew Johnson, hello Jenny, both my daughters want to say hello. Charlotte is 10 and Emily is 9 years old. They've been growing up with model trains for all their life. Frida. So a big hello, Charlotte and Emily. It's great to have you along, and I hope you're enjoying the stream. And it's a great creative hobby, is it not? And that's the thing about railway modelling. It's a creative hobby that has a lot of transferable skills. So, you know, and just as any other artistic, creative pastime, it's a really good way of developing hand-eye coordination, imagination, problem solving. But then there's more practical aspects of this in terms of, you know, artistic flair, but, you know, making things, repairing things, electrical things, you know basic understanding of electronics, electrics. There's a lot of transferable skills in railway modelling, and, you know, it is such a great and fulfilling pastime. Logan Clary says, lockdown has turned me into a human class 37 TTS sound chip. And that's it. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, you know, sometimes when there's nobody about, what I like to do is the toy cars. That was, as a small child, I used to make I'm not even sure that I can still do the sound. It used to be a sort of I have to put my tongue in a weird place in my mouth, and I've not done it for so long. My mouth has probably changed shape over the last 35 years. So, that is the noise roughly that I used to make as a small child for cars. And my mum always used to say that she knew where I was in the house because that noise would gently be coming from behind the sofa, and she'd look round and I'd be there with a few toy cars. Lee Clark says, hi everyone, recognise a lot of names here. Yeah, we've got a great turnout actually. We've gone over, I did see 216 people in the channel at one point. We've got 209 at the moment. Don't forget to tickle that like button and share the stream as well. Let other people know that we're on and that everybody is welcome. And I hope you're all faring really well. I know it's been really difficult during this lockdown. And boredom is the big killer, isn't it? It's just like, it's nothing worse than being bored to tears with nothing to do day in, day out. And that's where I guess, you know, railway modelling is great for channeling your interest, channeling your creativity, giving you something to do, and that is very, very important. Yeah, Ham Shackleton, you're absolutely right there. Things usually work perfectly until you point a camera at it. We get that a lot when we're doing the filming. Peter Leyland says, agree, Water Tank. It's a lovely animated novelty and the younger generation will love it very much. David Cook, Hatton's Pico Code 100 gone way up in price. I'll have to check that out actually. I'll look into that. I'll report back next week. Andrew Johnson says, this program limits the length of text you can write. Yeah, it's a bit like Twitter actually. Aidan L, thanks for the info on the VAT. Maybe I'll look at some British locos this Christmas. Very much so. And that's it. All the retailers should deduct the VAT because VAT is a European tax. So if you live in Europe, you pay value-added tax, 20%. Ouch. But if you're outside of the UK, that tax should not be payable by you. So you can deduct 20% off the actual ticket price, And then what you'll find is the postage, yes, might be quite expensive, but that 20% saving usually will cover the postage, from what I've heard from other people. So it actually means that effectively it's like buying the item like we do, but not having to pay for postage. Kelly Ashford says, "Cooey Jenny, I've joined the chat. Hello to you." Tim JD Dad, Leslie, it is. If you leave your car at the bottom of Mendel, there's a lot of people talking between themselves. I think I'm well behind on the comments here. Yes, oh yeah, one word of warning, Aidan L. The only thing you have to remember though is you're saving on the VAT tax, you may have to pay import duty. This comes from John A. Dawson, very much so. Do check on that. Lowly Bray says, what's the best materials to use when building a railway station? There's a lot of different materials you can use. I've used balsa wood and card, using super quick brick papers. Pico make a great range of bits and pieces to make up station platforms. You can also get ready-made station platforms from Scaledale, from Scenecraft, from Bachmann. Super Quick and Metcalf make some great card kits. So there's a whole host of different things. Each different material has its merits. Richard Lewis, good evening to you. Andrew Johnson said, my daughters are waiting to see when the text appears on the screen. I think it's about an 8-second delay. Fat Wallet Boy 2 says, are we due a Bachmann quarterly announcement roundabout now? I believe we are. It may even have been made. I don't think that there was anything particularly outstanding. It was just a confirmation that the class, I think it's the 117 and the 121, are going to be arriving within the next quarter. That's what I remember seeing. Now the 121 is a bit peculiar. They've come very much second to the party. Dapol beat them to it over a year ago now. So I think that that one's going to have to be something special, both on the model that is supplied, because the Dapol model was an incredibly good model, but also on price. It has to come in keen on price to be able to compete with the already well-established and well-liked Dapol model. And I think that Bachmann is really going to struggle on that. The Class 117, I think, will fare a lot better because they're not really going head-to-head with an existing high-standard model. Kelly Ashford says, you're my kind of lady. Swigging beer from the bottle. Oh, yeah. Thank you very much. With my special elasticated pants because I've been eating too much. That's the other thing as well. Lockdown has put a few pounds on the belly. Bolton Model Railway Society are great. Has posted the link, so don't forget to go and check out their competition. As I said before, it's a diorama building competition. They've got all the details on the website. Do go and check them out. The competition itself runs through until, I think I saw the 1st of June. I'm sure they will correct me on that. And it is being judged by yours truly and Les Cliff, who you'll know as long-time supporter of the channel. And he did the back scene. Had him on the Monday Club quite a few times. I'd love to get him on at the moment, but unfortunately because of lockdown we can't have guests in person. But yes, so we will be doing the judging. Adams Railway says, cheerio folks, take care and hopefully we'll see you next week. It's been great to have your company. West Hill Wagon Works, evening all. We're also doing a giveaway, a Hornby Flying Scotsman sound fitted. Details on our YouTube channel. Do go and check them out now. Oh my word, Kelly Ashford, thank you very much. You donated £2 on the super chat. I think I missed that before, but I finally got to it. 1952. Gosh, I am well behind. Thank you very much, Kelly Ashford. So I am going to, let's just stop you and let's run the Tim's Trains J36. I'm not entirely sure if it'll get round this. 673. So for Kelly Ashford, because you're so generous and donated on the super chat, so 673. So I do apologise for not noticing that sooner. I am very much behind the times. So hopefully keep an eye on that. So we've got Steam Train just going out of view there, so let's pick that camera angle at the coming interview, especially for Kelly Ashford. Big hello, Fat Wallet Boy 2. Darren Best, Jenny, how do you keep your track and rolling stock wheels clean with so many logos and track? Must be a challenge. I just use a Pico track rubber, and actually I don't get too much of a problem. So it's it swings and roundabouts. On DCC you can't use a track cleaning high frequency thing. You can get track cleaning wagons. Eventually I do intend to get, I like the CMX one. You fill it with like a solvent, and then that solvent goes down through pads onto the track and cleans it that way. That would probably be my personal preference. Daypol and also Gauge Master do track cleaning wagons, although I'm told that they can be a little bit abrasive, so one to possibly have a think about. Ben Tullett, I don't know who my local model shop is, as we lost our main one in Solihull years ago called Bob's Models. Oh, there used to be an Ian Allen in Birmingham as well, but that has closed. Is it Allen Oaks? I think Allen Oaks might be your local one. Kelly Ashford, yeah, so I'm well behind on the comments, so do bear with me on this. But we've got the J36 running, so might just catch it on this view. There it goes. So we've got steam loco with a sound chip in. Darren Best, the Bodmin and Wentford Heritage Railway have an online shop with some model railway bits, but no track. But I'm sure any purchase would help them so much. I always give them a look. Definitely, yeah. And I know that cash is king and price is keen, especially during these chastened times. And a lot of people are struggling financially, but so are the model shop owners. And it's, if you can buy from your local model shops and the smaller model shops, they will be very grateful for your custom. Flymo Chairman once says, I was watching Hornby's channel earlier. They mentioned a lockdown train hamper that sold out in a flash. Yeah, very much so. And it's something actually that I was suggesting to them and also to some retailers quite a while ago. So it's not, I don't know whether they took up my idea or they had already had the idea. But I think it's a great idea, and I want to see more stuff like that. I think it's a great idea for keeping people's interest. Fat Wallet Boy 2 says, price match sounds good, worth trying next time in Tornado Models in Birmingham. I'm going to just skip through a little. I'm trying to try and get back up to date. Let's have a look. Yeah, Flymo Chairman 1, smash the like button, folks. Break that like thumb. Very much so, definitely. And share too. Ham Shackleton, car engine noises. It sounded like a bad case of wind. I can't do it like how I did as a 3-year-old, but yeah, I know it doesn't sound like a car. Lord Panda, hi to you. Hi to Scrapline. Stretch Edits, hi to you. Model Steam Locomotive Fords, hi to you. Scrapline says, good to see some good old BR Blue running. Thank you very much. Mac Navi says, deducting the tax is only for companies, not for ordinary citizens, even internationally. Well, I know that the likes of Rails, Hattons, Kernow do deduct it for people who are not resident in the UK. J94, I like the Ethel Class 25. Jenny, it's amazing. Thank you very much. It's a Bachmann special commission that they did quite a few years ago for the London Toy Fair. And then they sold the rest through the Collectors Club. And the 25 really does suit the Intercity livery, it has to be said. Dundee Road, 18mm MDF seems to be popular for platforms too. Just be very careful though when cutting MDF. It does give off a lot of very fine dust, so you need a breathing mask and cut it outdoors. Just be careful with that. Stretch Head, it's absolutely right. I used 18mm MDF once for platforms. It's about the right height, but you struggle to get a nice edge with any kind of profile. It can be. It's like glorified card, really, isn't it? Ed Sutherland, I was meaning to check out the Invergowrie Model Centre before lockdown. Hadn't been there for about 30 years. There are some great model shops out there tucked away, it has to be said. Broughton MCR says, it looks like those tankers in the foreground could do with the dust. Tankers. Oh, right. It's probably the weathering on, I think you mean the Chemflow ones. Let me just move down there in the wrong place. There we go. Unfortunately, there is a little bit of dust. I was doing some work up here when I fitted The water tower, I drilled through a lot of wood and it's kicked up a bit of dust, unfortunately. So I'm slowly... I know the J36 needs a blooming good dust as well. I think it got the brunt of it. But yeah, dust was from that. And also we've had chalk dust from the new back scenes as well, which hasn't helped. Kelly Ashford, wish Jenny would run the steamer. Yay, she does it. Am I up to date yet? Paul Hess suggesting says, here's an exercise idea for you. Hitch up an exocycle that generates electricity to run the trains. Oh my word. New Junction, good evening to you. Great to see you in the room. At some point, I must get you on as a +1 co-host for the Monday Club. We can do it via video. It's all but impossible to get New Junction actually on the video. I know Cottesmore's managed it. Just joking with you. Lettuce Trains, is there any news on the Hornby Thomas range? I want it back. There will not be a return of the Hornby Thomas range. Bachmann now has the rights. We're looking, well, certainly before lockdown, we were looking for the autumn for the Bachmann range of Thomas the Tank Engine stuff to make it through onto sale in the UK. Can still be got grey import from elsewhere, particularly America, and actually they are quite nice models, but I suspect they might be a bit pricey. Kelly Ashford says, I'm sure I heard a whistle. Yeah. Oh, there's a lot of different whistles. Lord Panda, I have a Wilsco D35. Ham Shackleton, I use balsa sheet, give it a very light sand, then paint it grey, give that slight speckled appearance of poured concrete. Yeah, balsa wood is really useful. I use balsa wood for so much stuff, actually. It is really great. James Pets, the pre-grouping engine looks delightful. I do approve of pre-grouping. I have a very soft spot for pre-grouping locos, it has to be said. So, just checking out the camera. Oh yeah, I was the TTAs. Right, yes, I'm with you. Sorry, the dusty ones. I will get around to dusting them. The back scene is done chalk on art card, so until it's fixed in place using hairspray, it can drop a little bit of dust. So until we've got the new back scene, which will be, what can I get myself onto? Over the ooh. Oh dear, I just broke a chimney pot. Oh, you wally. The bigger your model railway, the easier it is to actually damage bits by accident. So don't worry. Oops. Just put a little bit of glue, a wee dab of glue, bish bash bosh, and fixed. Good as gold. You'd never know that I broke that. But way over there, that's waiting for the final piece of back scene. So I'm really looking forward to when Les gets that done. Dundee wrote, said, sadly Ham Shackleton, where I am, access to balsa is limited, very few model shops near me, so it's what I can get locally. If you really can't get it anywhere else, remember it's quite light, so postage, whilst it's bulky, it might not cost too much to get something like the Javis bargain bundle, balsa bundle posted out, and it does go a long way. Hobbycraft at a pinch does do balsa wood, but bear in mind it can be quite expensive. Although, actually, yeah, they aren't open at the moment. Flymo Chairman 1, that is an interesting idea. Discarded fruit box wood can substitute balsa for some building. Foxhill did something of a station over the weekend. Yeah, don't forget to improvise. And actually, don't underestimate thick card. It's a really useful substance that you can build like a honeycomb framework, gluing the card end on and then over. You get some great strength out of it. So don't overlook that. Leslie Gilpin, a good advice here. If CMX is expensive, try Charge, exactly the same type of tank track cleaner. Definitely, it's something I need to look into, it must be said. I don't get problems. I do clean occasionally with the track rubber where needs be, but I don't get too big a build-up. You just got to be careful not to over-oil things, and if you've got good continuity between wheel and rail, you don't get that kind of arcing that causes a black build-up. Yeah, very much. Stretch edits. The layout I'm building now has the platforms on a curve. Bad idea. It can be done, but it's a bit trickier. let's have a look. Lettuce Trends. Who said that the Hornby Thomas range is coming back in chat? It's not. The Hornby Thomas range is no more. The license is now with Bachmann, and it's unlikely to go back to Hornby. They for whatever reason either didn't renew it or were outbid for it. But they can't sell Thomas the Tank Engine models. You need a license to do that. Bachmann currently has the license. Peter Leyland, I wonder if they will bring out an out-of-the-box bouncing semaphore signal to lend some go-to achieve this. I suspect not. Dapol do the motorised semaphore signals, and I think the problem is that the extra expense and difficulty to get it to do the bounce, and the number of people for which that would be the deal clincher is not going to be commercially viable. Wardle Road, Ed, I was shocked I managed to get 7-foot planks into my car. Oh, lightweight. I managed to get 8-foot lengths into my Volvo. I had them up on the dashboard, it had to be said. But you can get a lot more in a car than you think you can. Ben Tullett says, my track cleaning wagons are a Hornby 4-wheel coach with added extra weight and I think a European outline red tanker with cleaner foam underneath. Triang used to sell a track cleaning wagon with like a foam pad underneath that you could put a solvent on and it would go around, yeah, Ed Sutherland, absolutely right. Sorry, yeah, it's Bachmann who are taking over. Leslie Gilpin, B&Q have long queues and insisted you use a trolley even to buy a box of screws. How strange. Bolton Model Railway Society. Competition finishes 30th of May. Winner announced 1st of June. Also, Jenny, we are getting our own real ale for the club made by a local brewery, which we will get a percentage from. Ah, interesting. That wouldn't be Banktop Brewery by any chance, would it? Wardle Road says, over 200 viewers. Well done, Jenny. Thank you very much. Excuse Dust. Yeah, 239 at the moment. Don't forget to tickle that like button and share the stream too. It's great to have you all in, actually. It's a really good turnout tonight, so thank you all. Mark Holt, evening all. Got over some of the fear and depression. I did a bit of cleaning of what will be my railway room. Lots of engines and some rolling stock, but no layout. It will come, and actually building a layout is a great experience. I love building layouts, it has to be said. And it's that magic of anticipation. And that blank canvas that's like, I can do all these things that I've planned, or I can add, you know, the improvements over my previous layout. It's a blank canvas, and I do like that moment. So Tony Wright, I support Buffers Model Railways of Axminster as much as possible, very much, and I have bought stuff from them in the past. I'm just looking around. I don't think any of their specially commissioned wagons are on the layout at the moment. They're more steam era. So they're in storage underneath at the moment in the fiddle yard. But certainly I have bought quite a lot of stuff from Buffers of Axminster. I'm a real sucker for specially commissioned Bachmann wagons. And they've done a few. Axminster carpets, that was one of theirs. Is it Tony Hancock Brewery wagon? Did that as well. Sorry, I shouldn't bang on that because it goes right through. Yeah, Cottesmore says, yeah. New Junction says, I prefer to do it in person when the lockdown ends, definitely. Cottesmore, you have a lot to learn to keep New Junction happy, young Padawan. That's the closest I can get to Master Yoda. It probably sounds more like Miss Piggy. It really does your throat in. J94 says, I don't know why, but I like the Class 25s in Intercity livery. Intercity livery, I think, suits most things. I'd be very intrigued. I mean, obviously, the real FL3 got Intercity livery, so that's why the model's out. But I'd be very intrigued to see other locomotives in Intercity livery that didn't necessarily carry it. I mean, Class 3s, there's a Class 3 with Network Southeast. I'm actually looking over there at it as well. But I think Intercity livery would suit that as well. But then other things as well. I wonder what a Class 29 would look like with Intercity livery. Maybe, you know, maybe it's one I should lean on Dapol a little bit. Go, oh, go on, see what it looks like. You know, you never know, it might sell. Sorry about the stupid voice, Cottesmore. You've got a lot to learn to keep New Junction happy, young Padawan. Yes, New Junction, he's like the Scarlet Pimpernel. You can never quite track him down. He's always very busy. But I will be taking him up on his offer to go and visit the Hornby test track layouts as well. I'm really looking forward to that after lockdown, if that offer is still open. Kelly Ashford says, Backman, Thomas and friends are on my list. Oh, is this stopped? Why have you stopped? Why? Don't know why it stopped. I'm going to clean that bit of track. After I said, oh, I don't really get a problem with dirty track. Oh, it's slipping a bit. I think, because it's on a grade here, the problem here is it's very steep. It's about a 5% grade on a curve, and as a result it's very, very prone to wheel spin. Now, if the DCC Concepts power-based system had been known to me when I built this layout, this is exactly the part of the layout that would have benefited enormously from it, but you can't really easily retrofit it without digging up track. Ed Sutherland, as long as you keep your social distancing, it's fine. It's pretty much impossible to socially distance up here, it has to be said. I basically made the layout as big as possible by making the bit in the middle where the people go as small as possible. Kelly Ashford, Backman, Thomas and friends are on my list. I must admit, I'm tempted to get the Henry locomotive, and the reason for this is because my little nephew Henry, who lives and breathes trains, will be overjoyed when he comes to visit to find his namesake whizzing round the layout. So I will get a Henry. Let's have a look. New Junks at Cottesmore, cola and chocolate, wasn't it? Ah, Wardle Road. Do tell, Wardle Road and Cottesmore, do tell the state of the grub situation when you come here. You do get a good feed. If Les is still in the chat room as well, he will also attest. You get a good feed when you come here. I think Wardle Road was packed off on his long car journey south with drink and chocolate as well. Cottesmore says, don't forget the fig rolls. Yeah, keeps you regular. Norman Rose says 242 in the house, 94 likes. That's true. Yes, don't forget, if you haven't already tickled the like button, do remember to do so. And share the stream too. Let everybody know that everybody is welcome here in the Monday Club. And also don't forget that you can check me out over on Patreon as well if you want to help support the channel. Buy my books, all that kind of jazz. Bish bash bosh. I have to get that in from time to time, otherwise her nibs downstairs shouts at me. Philip Bowden asks, which do you use for fixing rails across board joints, brass screws or copper clad? I've used both. Both are actually equally as good, I reckon, but there is a product from DCC Concepts that they sell for reinforcing, putting like basically reinforced sleepers in at rail joints, which look particularly good. You don't have to slip the copper clad to stop a short circuit. So that may be well worth checking out, but certainly copper clad sleepers do work, and I've had great effect with some of the very short stubby screws, very carefully screwed in into the web either side and then soldered to the rail, but just be warned that that can look quite messy. Wardle Rose says, right Jenny, I sadly have to go, but don't forget Jenny and I will be live on my channel from 6 PM tomorrow, very much so. So do check me out over on Wardle Road from 6 PM tomorrow. We're going to be doing that socially distanced over Skype, so that's going to be great. Ed Sutherland, yeah, absolutely right. Excuse me. Hobbygraph 2 Balsa. And Ham Shackleton, I've not broken any scenic bits for a while, but the cat loves killing things. Yeah, cats do. So I catch you tomorrow, Ollie. Leslie Gilpin, our railway room vacuum cleaner, is apparently home to a motorcyclist and several other people. I can well imagine. Ian Ryan, that's interesting. For some reason, fig rolls are as hard to find as loo rolls. Wardle Road. You're being the domestic authorities are dragging you out for your daily exercise. Kelly Ashford, Maud is a beauty in her own right. Yeah, she's struggling a bit here. So, I'm going to, I don't know why, but there we go. I don't know why it just kept stalling. But yes, she is a beauty, and if you can find one of the Hornby J36s in North British livery, well worth snapping up. I would like to think that they will do another release, not necessarily moored, but maybe with a different running number to suit an actual pre-grouping period loco. I think she might sell quite well. Yeah, stretch edits, use screws for lift out sections. I find them more adjustable and less fragile than copper class sleepers. Yeah, the screws are very, very strong, but they look a little bit more ugly. So certainly if you're putting them in an area where they're out of sight, very much I think you're going to just make sure, yeah, that's getting round okay now, I think. Famous last words maybe. Let's change the camera angle. So, there we are. There's definitely a little bit of hesitation on that corner. Have we got dirty track again? Oh, a little bit. You see, I just using the Pico track rubber. My favourite's actually the Gauge Master one, but they can be tricky to find a supplier for. There we go. Leaves a lot of dirt on your fingers, mine. Ed Sutherland, I'll try in the Honda Jazz. It ironically fits more than my extra, talking about fitting wood in cars. Yeah, funnily enough, my very sporty Volvo 850 Saloon is a much better shape and size than my large hatchback Nissan Micra 4-door for getting stuff in. But to look at them, you'd think you'd get more in the Nissan Micra, funnily enough. James Moody, on the 8-foot, I've had 10-foot long shelves and a Vectra, still got the boot closed. Well done. How far? Oh, good God, I am well behind here. James Moody, that was a good Miss Piggy impression, though. Cammy Wormy! Well, they're both voiced by the same person. It's Frank Oz, who did Miss Piggy, Yoda, Fozzie Bear, and he was also the one of the police officers in the Blues Brothers film. Mini Wistaston Junction. I've pre-ordered my N-Gauge NHS Captain Tom Class 66. Yes, certainly Hornby did 001, and they've expanded the amount that they're doing, so you should be able to get one. And Daypol are doing an N-Gauge one, so definitely. Oh, Lettuce Trains, good call. Warship with Intercity livery. I've seen a Class 52 Western. A Western class that somebody had very, very well painted in first great Western fag packet livery, and actually it really suited it. Bolton Model Railway Society, Northern Monkey Brew Company will be having a launch party when everything back to normal, which should be in end of March, also in talks with Bank Top for some sort of sponsorship. Oh, grand, hope that works out for you, definitely. Let's have a look. Lee Clark, Somerset Andy, I'll just sub to your channel. I'll catch up on your videos after this. Thought you might be interested in the simulator live stream. London to Edinburgh HST. Search the Train Tones and Thrash Lover. Ooh, there are some great videos on YouTube, it has to be said. Lettuce Trains. If you want a long-running model, don't buy the Bachmann Thomas stuff. They had bad mechs and are very noisy. Ah, right. So what about the Bachmann Henry? Because that's the one which I get for my little namesake nephew. Would I be better off steering clear of that, perhaps? Yeah, Ed Sutherland. Rails of Sheffield had the Edward engine for 49 quid. I kicked myself for not buying it. Yeah, they had the last remaining stock of it. And when I did the full warehouse tour, I think it's shown on there how many they had. So if they've now sold all those, they're doing really, really well. Because they had several hundred of them. Yeah, stretch. There's a lot you can do with the screws to secure the ends where your track goes across joints. Soldering to them, you just need to get a really nice hot soldering iron. That seems to work. Timber Surf, I am listening but snowed under with responses to my latest Facebook post. It's gone manic as I showed some of my 3D printing scrapped exhaust pipes. It's all rubbish to me. Yeah, there's some great 3D printing products out there. And Timber Surf, if you're ever wanting some stuff reviewed, I love to support smaller manufacturers, very much so. Davil, actually, there's a good idea here. Hobbycraft foam board. I've used this for all my track underlaying scores of scratch built buildings. Excellent stuff. Kelly Ashford, perhaps, yeah, I've sped Maud up, so she should be all right now. Definitely press the like button. Boom. Coddismore, right, I'm off, heading over to New Junction for his premiere to lend a spanner. Been great. Thank you very much. It's been great having you in. I know we're going to start, I think we're going to start losing a few people as they head off for that, but it is a premiere, so it will be there later on. Lee Clark, it will be oversubscribed and keep growing to a limited edition of 50,000. Be more common than anything in 5 years' time. That is true, but it's about raising the money at the moment. So I think it's one of those things that there's a lot of people going to be buying it just as a memento. Rachel Houston, how do you... Leslie Gilpin, Lucky Fox Hill here in Wales, that opening the garden centres. I believe they might be in the rest of the UK as well. Ed Sutherland, Volvos were used as hearses for a long time. Yeah, the local funeral parlour's got a couple. They do have special bodywork on. They're not just like... They didn't just get an 850 estate and bang a couple of coffins in the back. Right, apparently they all have the same mech in the back when Thomas Range says let us trains. I will have to keep an eye on that. Maybe it's one I'll do a review on, and maybe an endurance test. Yeah, maybe we should test to destruction. Well, not necessarily to destruction, but certainly test on an endurance test how well it performs. It'd be interesting maybe to see that. Timber Surf says, LOL, I'm not a manufacturer yet. I only got the printer a week ago. No worries, don't worry. I'm just, just putting that out there. I Like Transport says, I'll be back later. We've still got 224 people in the stream. I'm now up to date. So let's have a look through some of the different angles. And this is still one of my favourite angles, actually, when it comes up. Oh, no, that's the wrong one. That's the wrong one. But I think we should go roving cam. There's a few people who weren't necessarily in at the beginning. So let's do another tour of, let's have a look, roving cam. Let's do another tour of the back scene. So that's what you guys look like to me. Ooh, there we go. And as you can see, I'm not peeking into the yellow. Anybody who's wondering about the sound, you can see the sound level there. So if I click, yeah, we still don't get to the red. But enough about that. Just showing off the back scene. This was the Les construction. How close can I actually get? Let's just see now. Oops. Let's just see how close. So you can see there's kind of a three-dimensional effect. The buildings are modified from Metcalf kits and the like. Just going to make sure I don't snag the train as it goes round. But it really does give a great effect, and that entire back scene fits in less than a centimetre, so maybe 1/4 of an inch of space. So it shows how much you can get in such a small space. Now this is where the monitor cables are. So if I get this cruel angle, you can see they go up there. But where they're visible down here, this is seafoam, which just wait and see, will that focus on that? It's having a bit of difficulty, but with some of the War World Scenics, and it's a really good combination. I'm going to experiment more with that and maybe do a video on making trees that way, because it's a really great effect. Just moving along, it actually widens out a bit, so we get maybe 3/4 of an inch at this point to an inch. Fully utilised with super quick buildings and some scale dale at the end there. And then I really love this landscape. That's all hand drawn by Les in the background there. There are some more buildings, difficult to show you from this angle behind the tree. And then there's another piece where you see the gap there. There's a piece being made bespoke to just slot in, and that will complete the back scene going that way. So, oh, incidentally as well, this is the the 14XX. So I just thought I'd show that off because I did mention it earlier on. That's going to be a review, probably in a couple of weeks' time. The roof sits on magnets, but just look at the detail down inside there. It's very difficult. I'm very close, and yeah, it doesn't seem to want to focus. But there's certainly some amazing detail. Have I got that on the right way around? Yes, I have. So let's take a look. Over there, you can see the rest of the back seam that Les has been creating around here. And there's a power station there. Unfortunately, most of it got hidden behind that retaining wall, which is quite a shame. Although Les does have some really nice photographs on his own page. Showing it in full, and up beyond the military establishment, let's just see, can I actually get a good angle? Can't really see very well, but there's like a hillside behind there, so it all looks really good. Now I've also been doing there's the water tower video, so there's the water tower, but you'll see that area there. I've been doing a video, filmed it with some War World scenics that were sent for review, and that's going to be Friday's video. I'm doing a full how-to guide on that, and let's just get a quick look at Maud as she whizzes by. Right, anyway, enough of the roving cam because it's probably motion sickness inducing. Let me just need to change backward, yeah, there we go. Right, I'll just put that down out of the way. So that was just a lovely little guide to some of the amazing work that Les has been doing. I feel so honoured that he's done this for me. It is absolutely breathtaking what he's done. I really like this area here, and it's just really brought it alive. Let's try a different angle, see if we can see some of it. So you just see it there on the extreme right. Let's have a look. Game Hammer Classic Gaming, aka the Cupboard Monkey, is sharing the recipe for the amazing apple crumble that she does. James the Brains 55, hi to you. Thank you very much. Leslie Gilpin, I think it's a BBC Good Food recipe. Yeah, yes, definitely was the BBC recipe. The Cupboard Monkey is sharing that. Rachel Houston, hi Jenny, loved the adding amazing backscene video you posted building the loft layout. Thank you very much. It's come on even since that video, as you've kind of seen through that really dodgy roving camera. And I'm going to do a full update as soon as it's all complete. There'll be another full update because there are other things that I've actually been doing. A lot of little bits and pieces on the layout, which has really added extra depth and stuff to it. So there's enough for a really good update on the loft layout video, and I'm really looking forward to sharing that with you guys, because for so long I've been so weighed down with other projects. I just haven't really done an awful lot up here, and it's nice to get back to the regular Friday updates of what is physically being built, some real proper railway modelling. Right. See you later. I like transport. Oh, you're going to be back later. I'll be back. James the Brains 55 says that reminds me of my grandpa's special painting. It is really good. James the Brains 55. You can call the 14XX Oliver. That's an interesting point, actually. I might look into 247 Developments and see if they have some Oliver nameplates. Although saying it is a loaner, so got to be careful. Demantas Valikis, watch out! There's a train behind you. Where? Kelly Ashford says, I love standing on the footplate of a steamy. I went on City of Wells actually on the footplate when she was trundling down the East Lancs Railway. I went from Bury Bolton Street all the way over to Haywood on the footplate, and what surprised me is that it was quite clean on the footplate. I thought I was going to get filthy, but I didn't. Let's have a look. Peter Leyland asks, Jenny, do you have any form of auto uncoupling on your rolling stock on the layout? I don't actually. It's something I have given a lot of thought intermittently to, but never actually implemented anything. I do have like a little paddle thing for manually just getting in there, and you can do shunting with it. It's what I use on my exhibition layout, but when it comes to up here, I'll be honest, I haven't implemented anything. I'm going to have a think about it, but in all honesty, the most running that the trains get is quite literally here and now on the Monday Club. The rest of the week, I don't tend to actually run the trains much. I'm one of those people who gets their enjoyment from building the models rather than actually running them. Let's have a look. Shanghai 264359, lovely detail in the new back scene. Thanks very much. You should be thanking Les actually, and Les does do commissions. He's currently building a Harry Potter themed series of bits for somebody's layout. So for the right price, you can commission work from Les. You have to find him on Facebook or his website, Frame Around, I think. Philip Page, hi Jenny and everyone, hi to you. Let's have a look. Midland Train Spotter says a fascinating layout. Thank you very much. I do like it actually. It's grown slightly organically. There was no real huge master plan with it. I did kind of come up with a basic idea for the track plan, but it wasn't firm and fast, and it did evolve as it got laid. But I think what's turned out is actually a fairly reasonable layout. I like that. I always like that comment. Wow, we had apple crumble tonight. Small world, huh? Though wouldn't like to carpet it. It's from Ian Ryan. Flymer Chairman, one such movement in the scene you have running there. Very nice. Thank you very much. Kelly Ashford, the gospel train is coming. I hear it close at hand. I hear her bell and whistle toot. So Bolton Model Railway Society. I'm building a lockdown layout with the canal, looking at experimenting for the water by using transparent candle wax with dye added. Have you tried this? I haven't actually. I would warn, candle wax, I'm not convinced with that. What I would recommend is actually something like the Deluxe Materials solid water. It's like a casting, 2-part casting resin. I actually found that to be a really good product. One word of warning with that is mix it very, very thoroughly. Because you mix it for what you think is a good length of time, and it hasn't quite mixed, and that can affect the setting. So I find just sit there, watch a TV program, and mix it for maybe 10 minutes, and make sure it is thoroughly mixed. And the results you get are amazing, and it is a really great product. Not sure how much it is in the shops, but certainly I've had some great effects with that. You can put stuff on the bottom of your canal. What I would suggest is paint the bottom of your canal quite brown and murky, cast a layer of the resin, and maybe put a colour wash in there, let it dry, and then another layer. You could even cast some of the weeds into it so it looks like pondweed growing up from the bottom. There's a lot you can do, but candle wax, I would personally steer clear of that. It might work, but I'm not convinced. Kelly Ashford says, I have the proper Hogwarts Castle engine with working headlights. She's really Alton Hall in disguise. Very much. I have the same model from Hornby. It's actually down underneath here. Don't tell my little nephew Henry, but he's getting it for Christmas this year. He was a little bit too young last Christmas, so my sister, his mummy, said you just keep it for another year, so we've done that. Where are we up to? James the Brains 55 says, you've got a wonderful railway, reminds me of a workshop my dad will build with me. Thank you very much, thank you. Let's have a look. Gary Lewis, hi Jenny, seeing your weathered water crane, I've been watching Monday Live Chat whilst completing the weathering of my water crane with pastels to knock back the plastic look. Very much. A little bit of weathering. I used Humbrol black weathering wash is all I used on that, with a slightest touch of the rust weathering wash, again from Humbrol. I did that after the video ended because at that point I wasn't 100% certain that Rails didn't want it back, but they said no, just keep it, we can't really do anything with it, and you've cut a hole in your layout for it. So I then weathered it up. I did post some pictures of it all weathered up, but it doesn't feature in the video as such. But certainly the video's gone down really well. It's approaching 13,000 views, which is pretty reasonable. I know that others have copied it on YouTube, but certainly it's the one place where you can get the full guide of how to actually fit it properly as well, which is worth a lot. Yeah, the Harry Potter franchise has probably done a lot more for model railways. It's one of the things I think that's where Hornby have decided that actually there's much more value for money out of the Harry Potter franchise in the model railway world than there is in Thomas the Tank Engine. And I guess that Mattel, that owned the Thomas the Tank Engine brand these days, maybe wanted a bit too much money. So I suspect that Hornby made the right decision commercially. Andrew Davis, no, it isn't. When I did the review, that the Hogwarts Castle front light is not DCC controllable. It basically comes on and stays on. New Mills Model Railway, I've got DCC Concepts weathering powders, which I've used for coaches, and even the track works really well. There are some great weathering powders on the market. Now, I use the Humbrol ones myself, but I do know that the Tamiya ones come highly recommended, DCC Concepts too. And I have in the past even used cheap, non-sparkly eyeshadow. Yeah, the greens, the browns can be very good and very cheap as well. You know, the awful cheap stuff that that took kids at school, 14-year-olds at school used to buy with pocket money and just like re-render their face with. That rubbishes at makeup, but actually very, very good for weathering. Will Tucker, have you seen the amount some Bachmann Scenicraft buildings are making on eBay? Brewery buildings for well over 60 quid and Kent East Coast Signal Box, yes, they have gone up hugely in price, and I have to say they're probably out of most people's price ranges. I think the key is value for money, and at the prices that some of them are getting to, I don't think that they offer value for money. Now, I've used from back when Scenicraft buildings were much less expensive, or when they've come up in sales, or they've been sent for review. I have used some of them, and they are good, but I personally find that you can get a better effect sometimes with card kits by kit bashing, just as Les has achieved on the back scene. I've done with the Metcalf kits for the signal boxes. And some of the plastic kits as well. So the engine shed, I know I wasn't that keen on it, but you know, for somebody who's really into their in-depth scratch building type projects, I think you can get a much better effect. Now, there are certain things, like I've got the Scaledale. The Scaledale buildings I think are a much better price. Still expensive, but I think they are a better price. There's certain ones in that range which I think are really worth having. Things like the pillbox. So if we go to this camera angle, you can see the pillbox there. That's a Hornby Scaledale one. I think it's £6, and it's just great. It really is a great little addition somewhere on your layout. What other Scaledales have I got? I don't know if it'll show up on. Is it actually in shot on this camera? Just that there is a Scaledale. Actually, no, it might be a Scenicraft building. Scaledale. If you see right over in the corner, there's a goods warehouse. That is a Scaledale. I think that was very expensive, about £50. But it's a really nice building. Other Scaledale. Scaledale do, in my view, the best value Doctor Who TARDIS. Now, I know that Bachmann have brought out their own, but I think the Bachmann one is massively overpriced when you think that this has been, let me just change the camera angle again, this has been on the market for probably 10 years or more, and you can pick them up for a few pounds, and you can use it as a police call box. That's what it actually is a model of. But I think most people are like me. You don't glue it down, you just move it around the layout, and it has... Oh, talk of a TARDIS, hark! Has that brought a massive Whovian up? Oh my word. Not only has it brought a Whovian, but it's brought chocolate with her as well. How many of these things yet? We've been scoffing chocolate all day, and it's like, I thought we were cutting back.
We are.
Oh, I love white chocolate. It's getting very warm up here, though. I don't think that'll work. It's going to hit the bridges. It's too tall, it'll hit the bridges.
Oh.
Which is incorrigible. So...
Whoop, whoop, whoop. He's landed. The doctor is in. The doctor has stopped.
Oh yeah, weird. It's just a bit too heavy, isn't it? It really is quite heavy. The trouble is that Maud doesn't really have the power to pull the skin off a rice pudding. So let's just give that a little bit of a clean. Is it me or is it really warm up here?
Mm-hmm.
So actually, it's just a little bit too much weight, so I'm not going to mess about too much.
It's a heavy TARDIS.
It is, well, it's solid resin.
White chocolate Twix. It's actually not as bad as I expected.
They're great. Yeah, Ian Ryan, completely agree with you. Clear candle wax might be a fire hazard, but might get dusty very easily. And also, you might find it slightly soft, so it will show at fingerprints and be prone to damage.
Better off with varnish.
Ickham Rotors, thank you Jenny and everybody else for a great experience. I've got to put my son to bed. It's been great having you on, and really great. We had a really good turnout tonight, actually. So a big thank you to you all. And let's have a look. Just oh, and big hello to Human City as well. So gosh, just trying to get up to date here. Yeah, we are all eating chocolate. Who is this? William Robinson. Hello to you. It's lockdown. We're all eating chocolate 24/7. Unfortunately, we are.
We are.
So we're coming up actually on the end of the stream. Actually, I've neglected this. Do we have some of people's model rail videos to show?
We have one from Tim Pullen.
In that case, shall we round off the stream with that? And this is the section where we like to show some of your model railways. And if you want to submit your videos, don't send the video. Send the URL to the YouTube channel where you've got your video and link to it, and we will feature it at the end of the Monday Club. And it's really great to see some of your videos. The email address to send to is zoe@zoerobinson.com, and that's Zoe spelt the European way, just Z-O-E. There is no Y on the end. Without further ado, was it Tim Pullen, did you say?
Yep.
Kelly Ashford, I wonder if Jenny is a Thomas fan like me. I think we all started out that way. I do actually have, can I just share? I do have Thomas the Tank Engine books up here, but they are technically waiting for little nephew Henry. They were picked up at a charity shop. But yeah, you know, we all started out with Thomas the Tank Engine. I think it's the thing that kind of nurtured our interest in trains. So yeah.
Are we ready?
We're ready now. So this is going to be Tim Pullen, and really looking forward to his video. Spotlights with good general illumination, and lighting is very much a key.
It absolutely is.
Yeah, good lighting really does do a lot. So yeah, look at the difference. As soon as you fire up those lights, boom.
Yeah, I can see what he's on about with the undershelf lighting being patchy.
Yeah, I mean,
putting a few lights under the shelves, that does work though, doesn't it? You need a couple of strip lights up there.
Yeah, I'm thinking actually of, you know, that LED strip you can get.
Yeah, pretty much like what he's got there.
Yes, indeed. So, some of these are really good tips, and that is precisely the stuff. It's you just get it in like a big roll, and it's a really good way of improving any layout. I mean, there's many a layout gets let
I
down
could do
by
with some of that in my game room.
Yes,
under
you could.
the shelves, so I can see my consoles.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And it just shows what a difference.
Oh my goodness, that looks amazing now.
Look how it brings out the back scene.
Yeah, I'm betting if you put a little bit of coloured plastic over the top, you could get certain lighting effects as well.
Yeah. I do love these cab rides.
Everyone's doing cab rides now. You've got them set off. You've got them all set off, babe.
Yeah, everybody's hanging with the cool kids.
But it does add an amazing extra thing to your layout. You get to see it from a whole different angle.
Very much. I do like the Swiss rolling stock as well.
Looking very nice. The back scene blends in nicely as well. That's good.
Yeah.
A properly blended back scene really helps. It's like you were saying earlier on, the idea that the layout just keeps going.
Very much.
Nice bit of graffiti on the what's the word? Bridge. I lost the word there, it just wouldn't come to me. Liking the stone. It's looking good. I think this, if I was commuting on this train, I'd be a bit travel sick.
It does wobble a bit.
So does some of yours. Now I'm thinking about it. That is brilliant. The lights really have worked so well.
Yeah. Good lighting is definitely key.
Yeah. I'm liking some of the rolling stock as well. It's got a bit of character to it. Got to have some character.
A big hello, Gonads 1259.
Wobbly camera wagon.
I have to say, no, we're still starting at 7. Oh, interesting.
What is that?
It looks like a GoPro.
A drone shot. Oh, we need a drone. I've got one downstairs. So, Shanghai 264359 Timpolan, thank you very much. That was excellent.
Very much so. Huey's train layout says, I use toilet paper and PVA glue for water. Now, I've heard that actually that does work quite well. Never tried it myself.
Bit difficult to do that at certain times during lockdown though, wouldn't it?
Dogger Bend Railway, big hello to you as well. James the Brains 55, how many steam engines have you got?
Too many.
I've got about 200 locomotives in total. Number of steam locos, probably about maybe 110. We're coming up on the 9 o'clock. Gareth waits, I am late Jenny, I was just watching New Junction premiere. No worries, don't worry, this video does stay up on YouTube. You can catch up with all of the bits that you missed, anything that you want to watch again. It's been great having you guys company. We've had a really good turnout actually. I saw about 236 people concurrent at one point. I think it may even have gone higher than that. Don't forget to tickle that like button if you haven't already done so. Subscribe to and check out the channel. We've got loads of great videos coming up. We've got another review of a new locomotive.
She's been making me edit videos all day.
Shut up, Cupboard Monkey.
See how she treats me.
So we've got a new review coming on Wednesday. Friday, we've got a how-to and review guide for All World Scenic, so look out for that. Some great ideas to liven up your existing model railway using some of their great products. We've also got more reviews of the Dapol O-Gauge 14XX Auto Tank, the Oxford Rail Stroke Golden Valley Hobbies chain of shunter pack that comes from Hatton's, full train set in a box for under £70. It's really, really good value.
Good, yeah.
And also we've got the full update as well to come on the model railway, and also got a Rails Terrier on the way. And we're going to be doing a full-on comparison of the Rails Terrier versus the brand new Hornby Terrier, and seeing just what is the difference between the two. But until next time, you guys take really great care of yourself. It's been really great to have you on board. Thanks again for your company on this Monday night. Do take great care of yourself. It's really important to stay safe in these testing times. And don't forget that model railways are a great hobby to pass the time and to fend off the boredom that is probably the biggest enemy in this very, very strange time that we're going through.
Absolutely.
Also, don't forget as well that you can still buy my books. So if I go to Big Fat Belly on the screen.
So if you go to
Yeah, don't forget you can buy my books. These are just 2 of them. There's quite a few different ones. Great books. Science fiction, fantasy, sci-fi, horror. I do fantasy fiction. And also the comic collections, full-on comedy that we do as well. And you can also support the channel over on Patreon too. And that goes a great long way to help us to keep making the videos that you know and love. And don't forget as well, you can, in any of the videos, add to the comments, let us know any other things in future that you think that we should be doing in video form. But until next time, this is me, Jenny Kirk, saying bye for now, and you all take great care of yourself. It's been absolutely amazing to have your company on this Monday lockdown night. Keep really good care of yourself, and I hope to see you here again next time. Bye for now. Is there a button I'm supposed to press?
There is.
It's the awkward bit now, isn't it? It's like we're finished, but it's like talk amongst yourselves.
Bye.